In the previous story, Boss Lam finally busted out of jail to attend his son's wedding. Chan also stepped up big time by donating his kidney to save his mom, and she's all healthy now. On another note, Mok pulled off some sneaky revenge moves by getting his so-called friend arrested, then gave him a taste of his own medicine. Mok's really climbing up the prison ladder, even becoming one of the big shots. Word spread like wildfire among the inmates about their gutsy feats, and they nicknamed Boss Lam and Chan the Runaway Brothers. Mok, who was once just a regular guy, now gets to call the shots in the prison, all thanks to Boss Lam's mastermind plan for the escape. Mok's got his crew working on fixing up a room for some playtime. In the meantime, Boss Lam's done with fighting. He's all about that peaceful prison life now. Good thing the prison's back to being livable. Even Lay's officially on their side. Things took a twist when a new inmate, Ho-chun, showed up. He used to run a big credit company but got tangled up with some shady gangs, the Triad and Mafia, landing him a 3-month sentence while the court decides his fate. On the basketball court, Warden Tong shows up to chat with Chan. It turns out Chief Warden Tong is still in the same position because of what happened yesterday. He wants Chan to take on the role of both a mentor and a bodyguard for Ho-chun, the Mafia King. Naturally, Chan's feeling a bit jittery about getting involved with such a notorious figure. Cutting to the chase, Ho-chun ends up in Lam's gang cell. Chan gives him advice to stay out of trouble with any gang, but Ho-chun pays no mind to his words. To make things worse, Ho-chun doesn't even want to acknowledge Boss Lam, the cell's leader. Despite that, Boss Lam is chill about it and goes ahead, reaching out for a handshake. Just like before, Ho-chun snubs him, making all of Boss Lam's crew ready to give him a piece of their minds. But Boss Lam keeps them cool. He's not up for a brawl. He calmly asks Ho-chun to follow the cell's rules. Ho-chun flat out rejects it. He's not up for anyone telling him what to do. Plus, he's got plans to seize control in there. He even throws a threat at Boss Lam, giving him 2 days to give up his power, or Ho-chun will harm Boss Lam's family. That leaves Boss Lam silent, more concerned about keeping his family safe. During mealtime, Lay's gang, who were working as cooks, decided to play a prank on Ho-chun by putting a mouse on his plate. Naturally, Ho-chun got furious, and things got chaotic. This led to Ho-chun getting taken to Lay's cell, where they planned to rough him up. But as they started fighting, Ho-chun managed to fend them off, surprising everyone, including Lai. In an unexpected encounter in the restroom, Ho-chun crossed paths with Boss Lam. Boss Lam warned him to stay out of trouble with Lai's gang. Ho-chun, however, brushed it off and reminded Boss Lam that he better step down if he wants his family safe. Before long, Boss Lam's wife visited him, sharing the news that their child was pregnant. This brought immense joy to Boss Lam, as he looked forward to becoming a grandfather soon. While in another part of the story, Lay's leader got a visit from his bruised-up crew. They informed him that their gang got attacked by an unfamiliar group, which turned out to be Ho-chun's gang seeking payback for the earlier altercation with Lai. In the midst of all this, the warden stepped in with a tempting proposal for Ho-chun, paid up, and in return, he'd get fancy perks and top-notch security. But Ho-chun turned it down. Strangely enough, even after the refusal, the warden ordered his people to ensure Ho-chun's peace and protection from the other inmates. Adding to that, the warden had a talk with Boss Lam and Lai, advising them to leave Ho-chun alone. Boss Lam, understanding the deal, stayed silent, essentially agreeing to it. Lai, on the other hand, pushed back. He believed that Ho-chun was behind an attack on his external gang members. So, Lay rallied his crew and plotted to take out Ho-chun, who happened to be in the library. Unfortunately for them, their scheme was uncovered by the guards, leaving only 3 of Lay's men standing. Ignoring the warnings, Lay stormed into the library, aiming to end Ho-chun. Slowly, he got closer, but to his shock, his own guys turned on him, siding with Ho-chun. Swiftly, Ho-chun grabbed a razor blade and sent it flying toward Lay's face. Lai, not one to back down, put up a struggle, but the numbers weren't in his favor, and he ended up taking a fall. Before too much time passed, Boss Lam and his crew rushed in to break up the chaos. In the midst of it, Boss Lam asked Ho-chun to hand over Chan and Lai. Ho-chan agreed to give up Chan, but decided to have a go at life first. With that done, Ho-chan reminded Boss Lam of the ultimatum he gave. It was almost time for Boss Lam to surrender his power. On top of that, Ho-chan let Boss Lam know that money was no object. This whole episode solidified Ho-chan's position as one of the prison's leaders in no time. Over there, Lei's guys lined up to offer food to their new leader, Ho-chan. Not long after that, Ho-chan got a visit from a trusted ally who brought some tough news. One of Ho-chan's schemes had led to a death, and now he was facing more charges for assault and murder. What's worse, 3 witnesses were set to testify against him in court. Upon hearing the news, Ho-chan's mind raced, searching for a way to dodge his sentence. His plan? To break out of prison and confront this troublemaker, aiming to scare him into submission. So, Ho-chan reached out to Boss Lam and Chan, seeking their help for a jailbreak. He dangled a $5 million offer in front of them if they could pull it off. Boss Lam wasn't sold on the idea, knowing how tight the prison's security was. But Ho-chan persisted and threw in a threat. If Boss Lam said no, his family would suffer. Of course, Boss Lam stayed silent, not giving a clear answer. And the threat wasn't just empty words. Ho-chan wasted no time sending his guys to wreck Boss Lam's wife's car, a clear warning. Meanwhile, Boss Lam was having a meal when he caught a glimpse of his wife's car being vandalized on TV. Fuming with rage, he launched at Ho-chan and gave him a taste of his anger. Then, Ho-chan insisted that the car incident was merely a little trick to test Boss Lam's resolve, as Boss Lam still resisted his demands. Hearing this, Boss Lam halted his attack, concerned for his wife and child's safety. Following this, Boss Lam went to the warden to ask for permission to contact his wife. However, the warden unreasonably denied the request. In the evening, the inmates were caught off guard by a sudden surprise search conducted by the guards. In the midst of this chaos, Ho-chan sneakily planted a drug near him. This devious move was meant to frame Chan and send a clear warning for rejecting Ho-chan's proposal. Oddly enough, the warden seemed to be aware, as he called Chan out for inspection. True to suspicions, the warden discovered a drug near Chan's shoes. Chan, in response, denied the accusation and adamantly assured the guards that the drugs weren't his. In the meantime, Ho-chan signaled his crew to take responsibility for it. Eventually, Chan's name was cleared once the guards left. Ho-chan then confessed to Chan that he orchestrated the incident, using it as a small ploy to get Chan on board to aid his prison escape. With no other choice, Chan reluctantly agreed to help. When Mok heads to the school health unit room on a search mission, coincidentally finds Lai there receiving treatment for the effects of the previous altercation. On the other side, Mok is busy scoping out the area and stumbles upon an electrical outlet, sparking a new idea. It turns out, Mok and Chan are brainstorming ways to aid Ho-chan's prison escape. Naturally, Boss Lam is irked, feeling betrayed by this. However, Chan explains their motive to safeguard Boss Lam's wife and child. This reasoning softens Boss Lam's stance, and he eventually signs up for the mission. Then, clever Mok lays out the plan. Their move is to cut the power in the school health unit room. However, since the hospital's got backup electricity, they need to sabotage the underground cables. The prison escape operation kicks off, involving digging holes with improvised tools to disable the backup power system. In the midst of this, Mok assigns Chan a mission outside the prison, considering Chan's upcoming release tomorrow. Hearing this, Chan readily agrees to help. While they were hard at work digging, Mok also managed to create an improvised electrical device that would come in handy for their plan. This clever tool would later be passed to the SNE room through a book. Unfortunately, their search for the power cable turned up empty-handed. This left Ho-chan frustrated, urging them to come up with an alternative. Suddenly, they caught wind of an officer's voice approaching. Swiftly, they concealed their excavation under tarpaulins to avoid suspicion. With the initial plan falling short, Mok moved on to his backup scheme. He decided to ingest poison intentionally, aiming to be taken to the hospital. Initially met with resistance, the dire circumstances forced them to agree to the drastic measure. To avoid arousing suspicion, Mok also devised a plan to consume the poison along with the help of the school health unit doctors. This way, it would seem like they were poisoned, prompting the prison authorities to transport them to the hospital. Then a thought struck them. Every Wednesday, the doctor would get into horse racing gambling. This event was broadcast live on television. With this in mind, they concocted a plan. They would pretend to support the doctor's gambling and use this opportunity to share a beer with him. After ironing out the details, Mock led the way to the kitchen to retrieve the poisoned drink, and the three of them rushed over. Unexpectedly, one of the officers walked into the kitchen. Boss Lam went into panic mode, initiating a commotion with Ho Chun to divert the officer's attention. Luckily, the officer was innocent and quickly separated them. In the chaos, Mock slipped into the cooking room to retrieve the poisoned drink. Eventually, they managed to get hold of it without anyone noticing. Amidst the chaos, the officers ushered Boss Lam and Ho Chun to the school health unit room for treatment. There, they came face to face with Lai, who was already privy to their prison escape plan. Lai didn't waste time and threatened to expose their intentions to the warden. Ho Chun proposed a solution. He paid Lai a hefty sum of $10 million to keep quiet. Lai agreed, and surprisingly, he even decided to join them in their mission. Skipping ahead, the plan was set in motion. They managed to persuade the doctor to share a beer with them. However, things didn't go smoothly as the doctor declined the toast, waiting for the outcome of his gambling first. So they found themselves in suspense, waiting for the uncertain results. After a few tense minutes, luck was on the doctor's side as he secured a win. Without delay, they raised their glasses for a celebratory toast. Since the drink was spiked with poison, they swiftly began to feel intense stomach pain. The prison staff reacted promptly, calling for an ambulance to transport them. During the journey, they realized that Chan was already waiting for them. As the ambulance approached, Chan swiftly intervened, creating a roadblock to halt the vehicle. Before making their escape, they managed to spit out the poison. However, an unexpected turn of events occurred as a pack of dogs started chasing them. This caused them to scatter and become separated in the midst of their escape. In the end, they successfully regrouped, with only Mock still missing. Due to the pressing circumstances, Ho Chun urged Chan to drive his car. Before long, Mock appeared silently, having been left behind. However, their journey hit a snag as the car broke down along the way, forcing them to push the vehicle to a workshop for repairs. When they reached an open store, a TV broadcast showed the images of the 4 escaped prisoners, which happened to be them. This sight startled the shop owner, who shouted out of fear. This event marked the turning point of their plan. It was revealed that Boss Lam, Lai, and Chan weren't helping Ho Chun escape due to fear of his threats, but rather to keep others from attacking him outside the prison, ensuring his safety. Learning this, Ho Chun felt enraged by their betrayal, leading to a confrontation. Despite being outnumbered, Ho Chun managed to gain the upper hand in the fight. As he became cornered, he took the shop owner hostage. Just in the nick of time, the police arrived and apprehended them. While being captured, both Boss Lam and Lai displayed satisfied expressions, seemingly believing their mission had succeeded, and they were content with having beaten Ho Chun. Turns out their true mission had been to orchestrate Ho Chun's prolonged sentence by making it seem like he attempted to escape. Furthermore, they reported that Warden Tong had been bribed by Ho Chun previously. It was revealed that Ho Chun had been secretly bribing Warden Tong to gain control over his outside crew while he remained in prison. Ultimately, Ho Chun's sentence was extended due to their scheme. Meanwhile, Mock, Lai, and Boss Lam appeared to have reconciled. However, their moment was interrupted by the arrival of a new inmate, who turned out to be none other than Warden Tong. The moral of the story is bribing wardens might just lead to longer sentences and surprise cellmates.